Hey everybody, so here we have both 6-scale versions of the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka. To my knowledge, these are the only two that have ever existed, and a little bit of a fun fact about me is that a good version of this character in this scale is kind of my grail piece. I have been searching for that for many, many, many years. And yeah, so I just wanted to do a quick comparison here between the two of them. This is the Gentle Giant version, which I've actually had for many years. This is, I mean, these are both from 2005, I believe, but I have personally had this one for quite some time. And yeah, it was fine, and it is what it is, but ultimately it is, I don't think, a great figure. Specifically this jacket, the coat here, is nothing like it is in the movie. This is like a puffy purple, I don't know, winter jacket looking kind of thing here, which is not what it is in the movie. It's like this more sleek maroon color with this striping pattern, which is correct to the movie. Now, I don't think that this is maybe the best execution that could possibly be on this version either, but it's leaps and bounds better than this version, so I am happy to have finally found this. This is the Medicom Real Action Heroes version. Yeah, so just first impressions here is that the Real Action Heroes version is much, much better than the Gentle Giant version. Articulation and such is probably comparable. This figure moves around just fine, and as does this one, I think. So you do get the extra hand that I showed earlier with this one. This does not come with anything other than the cane, and then the hand is already in the cane holding position, I guess. As far as sculpts go, it's tough. I think the sculpt on this one might technically be a little better, but I think that just the paint applications are a little better over here. It's got that doll look to it, but there's something real off about this version. It looks a little creepy, whereas this looks less creepy, just like a doll. So I think, given the comparison, I would take this one. Scale-wise, they actually are not as different as I thought they were going to be. It was my understanding that the Real Action Heroes figures were a lot smaller than 6 scale. They were closer to like a 10-inch scale than a 12-inch scale, but yeah, I mean, it's I would say about dead even between the two of them as far as height goes, so that's pretty cool. What else here? The W brooch there is actually a little shinier on this version. Kind of surprised. I might take a little shiny paint to that myself and paint this one, the Real Action Hero version, because it's a little dull. You can barely see it. Hat definitely better on the Metacom version, as are the chain details are much more in scale. You can see it's quite the big chain and the big buttons on this version, whereas these are more accurate to the scale, so that's nice. Let's take a look at that shirt. Yeah, the shirt's Without seeing a reference pic of the movie shirt, I couldn't tell, and there's only a little bit peeking through here, but they're both pretty good. And then with the Medicom version, you do get the glasses, which I think is a kind of a key accessory for this character. When you think of the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka, I think you tend to think of him with these glasses on, so that's a pretty important accessory. And then the last thing that I kind of want to show here was the canes. So this one on the left is from the Metaccom, and this one on the right is from the Gentle Giant. They are, they're very different heights. Offhand, I'm not sure which is more accurate as far as height goes, but yeah, top, pretty comparable. I'm torn here because I do know that the cane in the movie is kind of a tube that's filled with candy. So technically, I think this version gets that across a little better, but this version's much more sparkly and I think would look better on a shelf. Plus the detail around the bottom of the top ball here is a little better. So yeah, not sure. I might swap them on display. I don't know, but I'll have to see which I like better. But anyway, for everyone who never cared about the comparison between the two 6-scale versions of Willy Wonka, here it is. So for the one other person on the planet who was curious, now you know. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.